Adekotopong, and we are very impressed with the Kufado's government. That's offensive chiefs. It's interesting because in the Ghanaian Times today we have the NCC cautioning chiefs who are endorsing political parties or their candidates. But Infantiman MPP backs widow to succeed late Eko Kwanza Hayford. Let me bring you some more politics. The front page of the Chronicle has NPP has lost touch with Ghanaians, and that's from the general himself, General Mosquito Johnson Asiedu Nketia, who is General Secretary of the NDC.
Well, so the New Weekend Crusading Guide says, we are impressed with Akufo-Addo's government, that's chiefs, and Mampong falls for NPP is also on the front page. Razak Kujofoko hits the campaign trail, and if you get to the Daily Statesman says that offensive chiefs give Akufo-Addo thumbs up. So we've been talking about chiefs engaging in politics and all of that. Well, it says that looks like they're still doing it, and here says offensive chiefs endorse Akufo-Addo.
All right, and let me bring this one. Kojo and Winston, you know, yesterday was the 1 week commemoration of the passing of the Fantiman MP Eko Kwanza Hayford, and many of the papers are capturing that event. Daily Guide says more tears for NPP MP, comes along with a photograph of Lydia Sairam Al-Hassan consoling Ophelia Hayford, who's the wife of the late MP. You know what these two have in common, right? Very symbolic, and it's quite an emotional photograph. But here's how the Ghanaian Times captures that story. The former President Mahama, others attend slain MP's 1 week observance. Funeral slated for November 27 to 29. This story in the center spread also comes along with that photograph of Lydia Sairam Al-Hassan, either kneeling or squatting to express her condolences to the widow of the late MP Winston.
And so the finder says murdered Infantiman MP to be buried on November 27. That's with the papers I've got concerning the murdered Infantiman MP.
We have quite a lot of crime stories this morning. There's an update on the killing of the Legon lecturer, Professor Yao Bene.
Oh, yes.
We understand that another killer has been nabbed, and there are details of that story in page 3 of the Daily Guide newspaper. And also, we have Ofosu Ampofo tape transcript in court. Remember that story?
Yes.
It's been quite a while we heard about it.
This is a tape of a meeting where he spoke.
Supposed meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
so,
and the Chronicle has this before you come in, Winston. Gruesome murder of Infantiman MP. Eyewitnesses identify 2 Hato Fidelity Bank killers. I know, it's quite confusing, but when you get to the details of the story, let me just bring that so you understand why the headline is captioned that way.
Right.
It is possible that the police will kill 2 or more birds with one stone as eyewitnesses of the murder of the Member of Parliament from Fantiman constituency have identified 2 persons in the video footage of the Fidelity Bank killing of a security guard recently. Do you understand this?
Right, so there was a killing of a security guard at Fidelity Bank in Hachu. Right, there was video footage of it. Now, the eyewitnesses to the crime, the killing of the Infantiman MP, have identified 2 people from that video as being responsible.
Right. And these 2 are said to be teens of a particular West African lingual. The story is by John Bediako. You can get details, more details of that on
particular
page
West
3.
African what?
Lingual.
What does that mean?
Language, I guess.
Teens of a language.
No, they are believed to be in their late teens and of a particular
West African language. They are of a particular West African language. Okay, all right. Moving on. I can't say I completely understand.
Right, so let me get to the finder and a bit of a crime-related story. So it says state calls second prosecution witness in Ofosu Ampofo Kwekubuahin's trial.
That's all you've got? Yeah. All right, okay. So I think it will be time now to bring you some updates from the economic sector. And there's a feature on the in the BNFT today. I think a lot of you may be interested in it. Simple steps to get out of debt. The details are captured in that and today's edition of the BNFT. And Dr. Ernest Addison BOG win major awards. We also have micro, small, medium enterprises contribute only 4% to domestic tax revenue. The Private Enterprise Federation is saying this, and this is despite making up 92% of registered companies. The PEF is proposing tiered tax framework. And this reminds me of the NDC's press briefing earlier this week, where they were suggesting some tax reliefs for medium and small scale enterprises when it comes to government. And yesterday during the debates, we heard a lot of that about tax and borrowing and blah blah blah. Well, so there you have it. But on the front page of the Chronicle, 70 million CD liquidity support, not with me. Guess who is saying this? Ato Essien.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's quite a long write-up. It's on page 2 of the Chronicle.
So the Daily Graphic says government unveils 2 billion Ghana cedis credit guarantee scheme for SMEs, and closely linked to the economy, but in education, says government to absorb utility bills for public university students from next academic year. That's on the in the Finder, and also in the Daily Statesman it says no more utility fees for tertiary students. Yeah.
All right, let's bring some other stories. On the front page of the Ghanaian Times, they also captured that one about a suspect grabbed in connection with the murder of the UG Law professor. Punish contractors who execute shoddy work. That's coming from PIAC. And this one, guys, Ghana has no cholera case in 3 years. This is some good news. And on the front page of the BNFT, consult locals in the implementation of the 1V1D project, PFAG to government, and Yendi ICT Center turns white elephant. We also have this on the front page of the Daily Guide. Dr. Anya, remember him, the former CEO of Kolebu? He is now heading to the whole teaching hospital, but this time round as a board chairman.
Well, so let's get to other stories, and a bit of a sad ones here, because the Daily Graphic says Northeast floods, large farmland submerged, 13,469 displaced. And you find same story in the Daily Statement. Says NADMO says Bagre Dam spillage aided recent Accra floods.
We couldn't bring the details in the papers to yesterday because of that interview we had to have on the alleged assault by the John brothers, but it was captured in one of the papers and it was interesting. So what the NADMO boss is saying, Winston, is that the Bagre Dam spillage has caused all our rivers to rise, and so with very little rain there could be flooding anywhere in the country.
So what's the plan? Since we've now predicted the problem.
The story I read said that though they had dredged some of the drains, I mean, the flood's still happening. So,
so the flood will happen. When it happens, what will the plan be? Because we saw what happened or didn't happen in the north when communities got flooded. Is there a plan? Is there a plan?
Could you quickly, let me bring this, Winston, because of what you're discussing today. There's a story on page 7 of the BNFT. We didn't know the vessel's destination, 3 say after foiled stowaway. So they just hopped onto the ship. They didn't know where it was going. They said they just hoped that they would land in a country with greener pastures.
So there's a story when I was a kid, of an uncle of ours who decided to stow away. And this guy, he is one of the most... look, in fact, he would do a good job of running NADMO because he plans. This is my uncle. So he spent weeks planning, preparing. He bought a chop box. He would go and roll himself up into the chop box for hours just to learn how to, hide in small spaces for a long time. Eventually, he went to Tema, found a ship, and stowed away in some tiny corner. After days and days at sea, the ship came to port. And he had his plan. He put on his winter coat, his boots, jumped off the boat, immediately started walking and slanging so that he could blend in with the people. And then he just said, yes, Brodo, sure. As it turned out, he had stowed away to Takoradi. All right, the On9 review is brought to you by Zenith Bank in your best interest and Goyle Good Energy. Now, Goyle, our people at Goyle continue to take such good care of us. And you need to go and visit your nearest Goyle filling stations to see exactly what I'm talking about. The good energy that you get from Goyle service. All right, and of course, they are making things convenient for you because you can use your GH Link card on all of their point-of-sale machines. You can buy fuel or lubricants with it from over 400 stations across the country. And it means that every time you make a purchase, it'll go straight recorded straight onto your monthly bank statement so that you can track and manage your expenses. Go cashless and protect yourself and stick to all the COVID-19 protocols in these times. Goyle, good energy. Goil, Yenara, Yenze. Now, all over the world, businesses have seen and experienced the impact of COVID-19. To alleviate Ghanaian micro, small, and medium enterprises in these trying times, the government, through the National Board for Small-Scale Industries, NBSSI, has, with the Coronavirus Alleviation Program Business Support Scheme, CAPBUS, disbursed funds to over 300,000 businesses and individuals across the nation. And they will continue to give more of them hope amidst this global pandemic era. So for more inquiries about the CAPBUS, call 0302-739-023 or 0302-747777. Reach them on social media through Facebook, NBSSI, a new era for SMEs. And Reach Your Code continues to give you the chance to enter the My Ghana, My Pride National Essay Competition. Upper primary, junior high, and senior high students should send in handwritten essays of not more than 400, 600, and 750 words, respectively, on the topic, your cousin who lives in a different part of the country is coming to visit you for the holidays. Write a letter to them, telling them about the top 5 exciting and interesting things to do in your region when they visit. Attach a Cadbury Rich Choco pack of 1 kilogram or 2 packs of 500 grams to all entries and submit at any of the collection points across the country, including Accra General Post Office, Osu, Achimota, Adenta post offices, as well as Melcom Plus in NIA, Tema Melcom, Medina Melcom, East Legon Melcom, Accra Central Melcom, Koforidua Post Office, and Koforidua Melcom. The top 5 from each category will compete to win from a total of 100,000 Ghana cedis prizes for students and their schools. Visit Cadbury Richoko on Facebook and Instagram for more details. Online?
All right, so the online stories, and starting off with My Joy Online. Over $114 million embezzled by NDC in Saglimi housing project, Atachia alleges, and perpetrators of corruption in my administration will be shot. That's the flag bearer of the People's National Convention, David Afasara. He was answering questions.
That's the Chinese model, isn't it?
Yeah, he was answering questions, at the Minority Party debate. And CityNewsroom.com says 4 armed robbers attack traders at Abofo Market in the Ashanti region.
All right, well, it's time for the BBC. Thank you both, as always. And have a wonderful weekend, Bernice. We'll see you Monday, right?
Yeah.
All right, so BBC News is brought to you. BBC News is brought to you by Fidelity Bank. Believe with us.